Hey guys, welcome back to Prop Agenda, the channel dedicated to finding cool and inexpensive ways to making props from your favorite books, movies, TV shows, and theme park rides. We're continuing this 6-part series of how to build the Hatbox Ghost from the Haunted Mansion. In this episode, we'll look at building the skeleton of your Hatbox Ghost using the movable joints we created in the last episode. This one is going to be fun, so if you're ready, let's get started. For this part of the tutorial, we will be working on the skeleton that makes up the body of the Hatbox Ghost. Most of this skeleton will be made up of 1-inch PVC pipe and the movable joints I made in the previous tutorial. Upon researching the height of the Hatbox Ghost on the ride, I determined the actual height to be 5 foot 10 inches with the top hat. So based on that height, I broke down the dimensions of each of the sections of the skeleton. Your own Hatbox Ghost dimensions may vary, so build them in whatever size you see fit. There are no rules in your own prop agenda. Here's a breakdown of the size of each of the PVC pieces. You'll notice I have numbered each of the sections so I can reassemble them once I've determined their location on the skeleton. The skeleton will be supported by a base and support rod attached at the back, so we will be building that first. The base itself is made of 2 pieces of dark blue MDF mounted together with strong tie metal mending plates. I use these because they are what I had lying around my workshop, but feel free to use a large piece of plywood as your base. I lucked out in having these pieces so I didn't have to paint them either. I used 4 smaller pieces of MDS as riser pieces in the corner to lift the base off the ground. I then screwed a 1/2-inch galvanized flange to the base. From here, a 3-foot galvanized pipe was screwed into the flange, and then a 1.5-inch threaded reducer tee was screwed to that. The reducer tee ends in a large PVC diameter, the same as what my frame is made from. From here, I inserted a 2-inch piece of PVC pipe and attached the first T connector to that. This T-connector makes up the back part of the skeleton, and that is what everything else is connected to. Instead of gluing all the pieces together, I press fit most of the pieces using friction to hold them together. Where needed, I used 1/2-inch screws to hold the connecting pieces that needed the most stability. I needed a platform to place the Huntley head that we worked on in the first tutorial. I was able to find a circular plaque from the craft store which I spray painted black. I drilled a 1/4-inch hole into the plaque and into the T-connector that would form the neck. I then used a long 1/4-inch bolt, washer, and nut to attach the plaque to the PVC T-connector. This was then placed onto the spine piece to create the neck. I then attached the other pieces to create the body of the skeleton. The movable joints that we created before were used to create the arms of the skeleton. I attached these next, and then did the same with the legs using the movable joint pieces to create the hip sockets. I did the same for both sides of the skeleton to get the whole body. To create the feet, I screwed PVC pipe caps inside of a pair of slip-on shoes I bought at the thrift store. These attached to the legs and were placed on top of the base in a standing position. So far so good. Since we are going to be covering our Hatbox Ghost in a black material and using black light to illuminate it, I wanted to make sure the white from the PVC pipes didn't show through the material too much. To remedy this, I used black pool noodles on the arms and legs to fill out the skeleton and to block the white of the PVC pipe. To fill out the chest and back of the skeleton, I purchased some corrugated plastic sheets from Michaels, cut them into a rib shape to better fit the size of the skeleton, and cable tied them to the front and back. To create a better fit, I added some angled pieces of pool noodle at the shoulders so the chest would not move too much. To attach the head, I added some industrial strength Velcro to the top of the plaque and to the bottom of the head. I made sure not to cover the separation of lines of the head, just in case I wanted to access the interior electronics again. And that's it for the skeleton. Well, that's it for now. I hope I've given you some good ideas on how to build your Hatbox Ghost skeleton. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll look at making Hattie's accessories, including his hat, cane, and hatbox. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you can stay notified of upcoming videos. And make sure finding time to be creative is on your agenda.